Hey everybody, how's it going? How y'all doing? So, we're gonna play some Citizen Sleeper. It's a bit of a cyberpunk RPG type game. Apparently they announced Citizen Sleeper 2. I've had my eye on this for a long time. Just never got around to buying it, and it was in this month's in March's Humble Choice. So I thought, let's grab it and let's play through. Choose cleric class. Operator. An operator works with drones, high precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from distance. Sleepers are assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Machinist. Machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist are usually diligent, careful, and structured. So you're an efficient extractor, +1 engineer, -1 engage, operator, +1 interface, -1 endure, or extractor, +1 endure, -1 intuit. I think I'm gonna go with extractor. Mostly because I've been playing too much hard space Shipbreaker recently. Where are you? Unknown. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. So I have some cryo. I don't have any data. It's worse when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that's indisputably yours. Think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard, at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now there are thousands of them. Remember the plan. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited. And once you got the itch to get out, by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip into cargo processing, seal yourselves into containers, then just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Let's try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You're dully aware of the damage to your legs and your right arm. You've been reserving your energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It's time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Rest. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigour. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its senses. Then light. White as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Dragos, pragmatic salvager. It's been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the innately curving element of an improvised heater. You're surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges, where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. You frames must have better perseverance in Sub-Zero Vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside-out locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of the symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seemed lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. Well, what happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, it's theirs now. And you were just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded into the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are the things you know, but not the things you feel. You're no longer that person, you're an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep a hold of you, well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumours of it from other sleepers. Planned obsolescence. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down. Separate from your emulated mind. How long's it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The Eye is the best place you could be right now. The Eye? The station. You'll see well enough. Patiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. I haven't been pulling much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside you. Emotion, fatigue. Shakily get to your feet. Nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, his drones, him and his drones stalk back into the wrecks. His drones already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore the areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move the time forward. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Select locations by clicking on their icon. So that's the empty container. Oh, right, okay. So I'm on a big... station here. View my character. I have no upgrade points to spend. Very well, you're home for now. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. You wake, curled up in the corner of the container, and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake up in now, strange, disjointed, its message is readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station. Millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape. The colony, your indentured service, that's in the past now. No point digging through any of the fragments. You need a path ahead, a way of keeping this failing body going. If you can keep yourself alive, perhaps you can find a way off this station out of this system for good. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The Mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachet smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As a pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright, polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it's long after you've finished drinking before they fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. So, condition, action dice, and energy. Condition, so your condition is the state of your artificial body. So this is my condition. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can be damaged by violence, injury, lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you suffer a breakdown. You have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that keep you alive. So these are your action dice. You roll your action dice, and they can perform actions at the station. Number of dice is based on condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. So that's why I've only got 4. Once you've used your dice, you can't take any further actions, must rest to recover them, ending the cycle. And energy, you need this to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill it by eating, but first you have to find somewhere to get food. Depletes by 2 segments each cycle. It becomes empty, you'll be starving. When starving, it's a condition loss, and your condition will deplete at double per cycle. Okay. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light in the corridor, you realize it's implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Not good. Drone chirps, he nods. You notice beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe, so I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Yeah, sure. Alright then. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labour. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Got it. He shuffles nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited to moving on as quick as you can. Sleep as well. But things the way that they are for me at the yard, I need the help. Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away. The drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later. Calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. So there's the Lowen Gate which gives you passage to the low end. That's the home, that's Drago's yard. So I'm not... Let's... I guess this is repeatable. Actions. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, drag your chosen action die through the slot. So these are repeatable actions. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy, condition, or items, depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of icon. Positive, the action goes better than expected, the action succeeds. If it's neutral, or negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as following. So 6 is 100% positive, 5 is 50-50, 2, 3 or a 4 is 75%. So 6 is success, like full success. 5 is a success but 50-50 of being positive. 3 and a 4 are 75% success, and 1 and a 2 are 50-50 success. Okay. This is a repeatable action, this is a repeatable action. Okay. So the type is either critical or repeatable. Criticals can only be done once. Risk is either safe, risky, or danger. If it's safe, you don't lose condition, energy, or cryo. If it's risky and negative item, outcome means cryo or energy loss. Danger, potential to lose condition. Neutral key, you can still lose on the dangerous one. Skill the action requires. It's either -0, +1, or +2. This is added to the action die when slotted and improves its value. Okay. So this is the cycle clock. Every salvage, so Dragos is tied up in something ugly. If he misses a payment or 2, things could get nasty. Every salvager knows they're always one lucky haul away from their next payday. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage. No danger to hard labour. Here, even the rustiest holes can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skilledly. So, if I put you in there, you go to a 4. Let's put this... So you should go to a 5. Tutorial clocks. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed by the actions to fill them and track your actions how they affect. Well, filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking data search, are cycle clocks. They tick once each cycle and complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks display... Right, okay, so it's a cycle clock, so... So if I put you there, you have a chance of being negative. Drives and navigation. In Citizen Sleeper, you unlock drives. Drives guide you and produce specific objectives. You can track objectives, place the yellow marker, access your drive menu by this. You're now free to explore around design, make a life for yourself there. Try tracking the drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and way to reduce condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end the cycle at your home when you're out of dice. So we've got some cryo there. So we need to repay Dragos and also survive. So we've got 10 cryo, 20 cryo. What are you, Doc? What are you? The shipyard. So there is a cycle. Let's go here. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet out of the Helion are rare, but those that always do return eventually. So there's nothing to do there. We could try and steal some dock plans. Getting to know the Rotunda doesn't mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Explore the Rotunda. Rotunda of the old dock is filled with passageways and concourses leading to all kinds of docking bays. Have an age watch list. Yeah, I don't necessarily think I want to do either of those. Take several cycles to read the steward belt, return loaded with scrap from the old wrecks. Bright market. Ask for directions or... I mean, that's dangerous. Pay low-end toll. Yeah, so... And what's here in the shipyard? Assist a shipbuilder. You don't have the connections, but you do have the skills. If you can get a shipbuilder notice, you might be in. The newcomer, you can only gain favor by grabbing a load of materials and asking the nearest hand where to take them. Well, we might as well work in the yard here. And we might as well do this risky action with this 6. Plus you back in business. And then this is 50-50. We got a negative. Still got 5 cryo for it. So now we have to... Oh, we can sunbathe here. Your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather energy through sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Ah, interesting. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skull, rings around you. For a moment you're gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colourless void, then the connections begin to establish themselves. Threads tugging at the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. You find a point in the station and you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it's pulling in 2 directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden everything shuts off. You come back trembling to this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed across your mind. A storm of connected nodes waiting to be explored, and then it's gone. So I need to gather energy. That's 50%, or let's do that one. +2 for back in business. Let's do that one. Okay, so we didn't manage to survive that. End the cycle. At least we're not starving this time. Oh no, we're starving. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It's clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring through these forms and then leap off into the void. You begin to understand these are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops, it seems almost impossible to pass, but you begin to try. The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid fixed points... You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here, and lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. But before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then, that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions as if they were tied around you. Let's take the second. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something. A sphere, shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. The first thread leads out, away from the station into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. You open your eyes, time is short. I need... Something has changed inside you. You can now access the data cloud of the eye. A network of decaying protocols and data caches. While there, you can use DICE items to access systems and extract data. These networks are old and strange. Click the eye button at the top of the screen to toggle this view on and off. Oh, right, okay, so you are nodes. Data actions allow you to extract data from networks. The eye, they work like dice actions, but you must match your die to the one displayed on the right. If you plus one, give them more possible dice to match. Use any die that matches the dice displayed. Once unlocked, data can be extracted. So, if we do this, there we go, back in business. Every salvager knows they're always one lucky haul away from their next payday. So I assume that has helped him. You arrive in a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across the scorched hull plates and bent structures spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Dragos stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it's lowered into the yard. What is it? This, my friends, is A-grade scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think what became of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. That's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern. He shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm going to need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion, locked inside that container, the wreck of the Espinarp freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse, ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we're up for it. What do you think? See the fading name of light ship emblazoned on its side. Winterlight. Let's do it. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. Real beauty. Dragos repeats. Perhaps just to himself, you take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting and then slip out of the yard, feeling cold in the empty passage. So we've completed our first drive. It unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character. Access your character menu via the arrow at the top right of the screen. So I want to chance to gain cryo on an interface, chance to gain random scrap on our engineer actions, or you can spend 2. Kind of want to go engineer. Yeah, because that gives me random scrap, and then later you can scrap components at home. But here, that needs 2 upgrade points. Oh, that gets you energy back. Let's go with Thrill Seeker. Let's go with Engage. Someone out there is tracking you on your tail. It will be long before they arrive. Okay, let's do some sunbathing. So you've got 2 energy back there. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up! Feng is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? You do now. He puts his hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around. Just want to chat. You staying in that thing? Rough. Can be hard to get a start in the eye. He looks down the way passage. What was it old Erling said? The eye opens for all of us. Nice idea, but not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Erling? You pass together in the main workway. No one's told you about Erling? He's the founder of this place. That's why it bears his name. Havenage should organise some seminars, he laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with systems. Everything in the eye runs on. This place is a ruin, but systems keeps it spinning somehow. At least we try to. He stops you in the quiet path. Look, that's not why I'm here to discuss. I saw you around and well, I know a little about you sleepers, but I have a little proposition for you. But this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or 2 to prepare, and then when you're settled, stop by. lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright, his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Okay. So, Dragos Yard. So we can investigate here. Dragos seems increasingly nervous about your presence in the yard. You're not sure he's going to hold his nerve longer. We still need to find a doctor. Nothing here. Steal the dock plans. I mean, grabbing plans to see if we can find a doctor seems like a good idea. Oh, Thrill Seeker kicked in. Getting to know the Rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Ooh, a bar. Sealed dock. Sealed dock. These old maglocks look like they need an encrypted key to open. Why the heavy security for a decaying lock? Okay, so that needs a key. Who's at the bar? We can get a drink. You're unsure if your frame can metabolize alcohol, but this fungal drink, fermented against Greenway, seems like a good test. Buy rations! Yeah, let's buy a drink. Got energy, we got Overlook regular. The Bright Market. Something on in the Bright Market. Ask for directions. Explore the market. Let's look at this. So we've got a key node here. It's a 1. Gate needs a cipher. Havenage manager is broadcasting on the open network, leaving them open to data extraction. So we've got this Havenage data. Cache of raw data from Havenage hardware. Complete active scenes. What's my active scene? Hey, you! Want to earn a chit? Ankita stands behind a huge pile of tied-together hull plates. She stretches out her back, her shoulders bulging beneath her flight suit. Sure. You cross the docking concourse and she begins to split the plating in 2 bundles. What is it with this place, she asks as she lashes the massive plates together. Everyone wants their cut. She straightens up to an imposing height, her armor plates creaking, and looks you up and down. Don't try anything, alright? She taps a button of the sidearm. I don't want to have to put anyone else down today. I wouldn't think of it. Good. I'm not usually this short. Hoist one bundle plating onto her shoulder. Come on then, enough chat, you've got to earn that shit. You struggle to shoulder the plates, but you do eventually. Ankita gives you a look. Ship's this way. She sets down a gantry at impressive speed. As you catch up to her, she turns down the passage, pushing through a small crowd of stevedores. What's all this for? Oh, this? I'm building a treehouse. It's for the ambergris, that cutter you might have seen sitting silent out there. She rapidly turns into the corner. She trailed behind. She's got cut up pretty bad in her last job, and I had to moor her up here for a spell. But since then, it's only gotten worse. Someone got in and sliced the core from our ship line, so now she's gone dark. The upshot is, I'm short one ship line, with a ton of repairs to do, and the rest of the crew signed off at the moment. They got wind I've been stranded, so yeah, it's been a time. Anything I can do to help? I don't know, got a ship mine tucked away on that frame of yours? Ankita swings the plates from her back, almost knocking you over in the process. This is me! So you're the first person I've met here who might actually be considered helpful, she pauses, chewing a bottom leg. Look, you want to help? Come see me. I need a hand putting Amber back together, and you seem like the type to try. Don't seem like the type to try anything stupid. She passes the bundles of plates to the ambergris is out a lock and then turns back. Just don't go spreading all this around. She throws you a couple of chits. Consider it a bonus for not trying to grift me. Gives you a parting nod and ducks through the doorway. Alright, get out of here, she calls back and locks slams shut. So that's a new drive. Fix the ambergris. Precious ambergris. Now I can end the cycle. Okay. Oh, what are you? A scrap freighter. Buy some scrap. Unload containers. Sure. The freighter will stay docked for as many cycles as it takes to offload its whole scrap into the Havenage yard. Oh, and that got me energy back. Okay. Bright market. So after some space has caused some trouble in the low end, they've imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. Sure. Low end access unlocked. So this is the low end. Free spoke. Founder's Gap. Block maintenance maintained by the residents. Ramshackle blocks are always needed repairs. Helping out is a good way to make friends. No one here knows you, so you need to make friends. Access to the facilities. The free spoke. Enter the spoke. Tangled network of service passages and makeshift cut tunnels. Or you can scale the spoke. And then Founder's Gap. To reach the Greenway you need to pay for a pass. A practice invented by the spacers here, they call it the Founder's Ferry. So Ankita has a couple of glitch repairs, but I need to upgrade my skill for that. I can help her with the pairs. Sure. Positive outcome, ship shape. The ambergris doesn't look good, but time and attention should see it return to a functional state. Feng. Sleeper. Feng catches your attention as you approach the Havenage building, leaning against a bay door to the side of the entrance. As you approach, easier to come in this way, security and all that. Gives you a look, you know. He slams a button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Feng inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There is a chorus of hums that blends into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. He leans on the server stack and gestures around. You like it? What is it? He taps a nearby server stack, which bleats in response. It's my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. Couldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over a towering block speckled with veins. Some of these systems are from the original station, A1. The one Solheim built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up the Eye and think they're seeing a concrete reality, but this place is a system in constant flux. Decaying, growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down beside hardware stacks, and you follow. We're keeping this place alive, but we're remaking it into something new, dragging it away from the corporate origins. That's what I think I'm trying to do. He turns back to face you among the flickering machines, humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections. You can see it, can't you? It makes sense, right? Yeah, between here and there, between the people and their systems, you light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you as they do. They seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Feng notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though. They're tracking. You pat you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see. Access protocols lost to time and decay. Secrets. Shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place. Break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control. Lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Havenage there's old growth. Those whose roots trace back to those bad old days. You help me dredge up the past and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours, he winks. I'm in. Touch on the shoulder, he meets your eye, you won't regret it, Sleeper. Passes you a ragged-looking metal tag. A gift. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into an old network gate and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks you back to the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above have granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay for you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. Slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper. See you soon. Step back, blinking back out into the passage. The flickering light still in the back of your mind. So, extract the past. So we can go to the Solheim gate. Solheim cipher. So now we have gate 7 access. With a squawk of noise, the old gate flips open, granting access. This is the Solheim node. Network storage. Right, okay, so I need a 4 for that one. This one needs a 1, though. Node is leaking corrupted contractor lists from the early days of the system's Palladium rush. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread strung tight around you. It tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown, astringent, processing. Resist. You struggle against the thread and it tightens in response, a glittering garrote. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it's a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of lights circled around you. It's blinding for a moment and then it's gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What did you do? The shape paces around your lithe legs. Although there's no ground here to pace on. Entity, identify, origin, serial, cadence. Figure, place, faces you expectantly. Sleeper, essence ARP. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates. Barakis signature. Of and not of, attempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking vine-like ribbons that flex and wave. Stop! The figure halts its threads, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct the illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect. You're an entity. All at once, Hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste. The one from the sealed dock. Hunter shivers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. Sealed dock? As an entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike! You lash out with all your force. Not a physical strike, but a focusing spike of interference, leaping out the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Where is Feng? Feng's Bay, there he is. Feng will pay you well for any Solheim data you dredge up. Yeah, I got some cryo out of it. God, I need to find that doctor. Disable your tracker. Feng says you'll disable your espionage traffic if you bot to this mystery. I think I need to do this. The bright market is as busy as part of the eyes lower in. You can find anything and everything here. Aha! A slum doctor. Next comes a call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down, your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that the doctor was operating out of this place. But now that you're here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer at the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block. They've all made this long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, this body will... You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract you. I'll look at the enforcer. He's looking down the corridor and you dare to glance at him. His purpose is unmistakable. He's there to intimidate, to threaten, and if necessary, carry out those threats. His broad shoulders are framed with a metal exoskeleton. A couple of mirror-like implants sit below his eyes like mercury teardrops. Subsidiary sense input or aesthetic markers, you aren't sure. You also aren't familiar with the geometric blade-like tattoo on his arm. You make note of it. You avert your eyes when he looks back at you, back at the queue. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send in the next one, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside. passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. The floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the Bright Market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you're transfixed by the motion. "Come, sit," calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak. They blink and then quickly regain their composure. "Please sit." They gesture to the bed and turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression. When you first entered, fear, recognition, sadness unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on the station?" they ask, scanner still to their eye. A few cycles." "It's good you came to see me. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything." They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying." They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not injected with stabilizer, one of which SNARP remains the sole producer of. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. Feel your forearm tremble. "Sorry," she says. You're unsure if they mean for the cold touch, the metal, or for everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. And SNARP has no reason to release Stabilizer into the market. She looks up again to apologize. "I know a little of this, if used to you." They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and that silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. "I may be able to help." They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. "You saw Toshiro outside?" You nod. "He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They're influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds." They look away. "But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Steward Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance." Sabine sets down their slate, the notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it." Just thank you." Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. "Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead." You nod and leave. Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower levels of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof. To see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Ooh, a street food vendor. So that's gonna take like 3 cycles to happen. Memphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus onto a dented wok. His other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chips rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped, rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on bright market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually it's your turn, and you shuffle up to the front. Emphis speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. Thank him. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks, the earthiness of fungus laced with something so spicy. The smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Emphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap. Piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him the story about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks. His eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but the sense of possibility in its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. Tell him that the eye excites you and scares you. You're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you trail off, running out of words. He glances and places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, but next time you pay. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of a circular scars across his forearms. It's surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away. As you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicate, sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. So, another drive. Get to know Emphis. So, get to know Emphis. So you're gonna take some time. What are you? The Ort Exchange. Do I have any scrap? I don't have any scrap. Flow of chits and components in the exchange. Okay, so you have to do this to get the shipmind fabricator. Sealed dock. I could just buy some scrap. So if we go over to the Ort Exchange, what do I do with the shipmind? I just need more of it. I mean, that's not great. That one's risky. Dock C4, that's just that. That's risky, so we're not gonna give that a go. What about the bar? No, we've done some stuff at the bar. Solheim node. Fengs Bay. Scoping the systems. He gave me some cryo. Let's go. End the cycle. Oh, I don't have many dice. We could do this, we could investigate it. There's one more node here, but it needs a 4. That's the maglock. Could help them. Yeah, that got me some cryo, and then we'll buy some more scrap. Ah, now we got some scrap. So I'm not quite a trusted trader yet. Well, let's go buy more scrap. So now I can't do that, but I didn't actually get any scrap. So I could unload. Sure, let's give that a go. Aha, neutral outcome. Did you extract the pass? Disable your tracker builder's ship mind? Yeah, so you need to gain access to the alt fabricator. To do that, let's end the cycle. Hey, word notify. Yeah, new game, new game. I'm running so low on. Right, what do you use? Solheim node. Oh, you need a 4. You need a 2. So that ship has gone. I need to get the Ort exchange here. So I could play the exchange. Let's play the exchange. Negative. 11 lose my cryo and... yeah. Okay, let's... What were you? You need a 4, don't you? These are keynodes. Sit here as part of the cache tucked away during the collapse. Who hid this and for what purpose? I can't really do anything with them at the minute, so I think I'd rather keep my 2. And I think what I'm going to actually do is get my energy back. And then end the cycle. Oh, Sabine. The first thing you see on entering is a glint of Tashiro's implants, like a cat's eyes in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I have it! Sabine stands with the case open in front of them. A set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up and rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how yet again. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it is what it appears to be. And the test case? That seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure whether we have another choice. The gesture for you to sit on the bed. A stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in transplant operation, in that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material, and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains, which act as passcodes within your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from injecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. At least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. Begin readying to the syringe. Start with a small dose to limit the risk. Well, I don't have a choice. I think you're right. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. Tap the syringe and you watch as any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection, but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site, a fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light, slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness. Muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in the chair by the window facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? What happened? The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down beside the bed. I don't know how Yatagana got a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, but you are going to have do that somewhere else. I have other patients. Sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You're going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room. Return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have been moved or shifted. You wonder how long you've been out. Sabine? Nothing comes free, Sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Oh, thank God for that. The condition is full. Merchant freighter. You and the merchant, so we can buy a ship mine fragment for 60. So I need to get to the Auto Exchange, so I can play the exchange. I kind of want to... Let's get some salvage here. Gets me some cryo. Is there anywhere to get some scrap? I'm at the shipyard here. So I could just like start hauling. Or assist a shipbuilder. Kinda just want to keep Drago's yard, but I also need energy. I tell you what, let's sunbathe. There we go. So we're going to get full set of dice this time. Which gives us so many more actions. Okay, so there's nobody there at the minute. You still need a 4. So we could try and intuit that. You could go to the Auto Exchange. Keyboard battery's low. Yeah, let's so we've got some cryo out of that. That's good. How much is a ship mine fragment? Just that. Let's just try cutting it up. More cryo. And then 2s. Just got these 2s. Engineer, no. Okay, so that's 100 stabilizer a time. 100 a time. No, that's not terrible. Ooh, the bar. Yeah, that gets us a bit of energy. That's good. Have an agent. Fine, let's grab you. What's this key node? You need... Hasn't changed. Let us... We haven't got the right data for him because we haven't had the 4. It's scrap that I want. Wholesome materials? Sure. +2 yard hand. So the hunter are gonna be here. Hold it there, sleeper, comes a voice behind you. Don't run. Stay still. Good, good. A hand pats your coat down. You know your master's voice. Ethan spins you around. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he is terrible news. You got all the way out here and then stayed put. He laughs a cruel laugh. Sleeper thing, you're my first. Barely hear him. You notice the handgun he's got leveled at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out of his belt loop, not taking his eyes off you. Making it to the eye, though, that's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. Pull most of my contracts off out of asteroid caves or off godforsaken moons. He splits the ring in 2 perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Who are you? Just a freelancer on a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings onto your wrist. Go easy. Make a break for it. You see the chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. Then the shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. You freeze and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. He nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles, going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. We can work this out, can we? I don't see much of the way of assets in your possession. He yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. Shame to come all the way out here just to head back to SNR right away. That track of yours makes this a bit too quick. I was hoping you'd put up a bit more of a chase, you know? A running battle through the Bright Market maybe, or a holdout in the low end. The few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. Walk on silence for a little while longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. The SNR tracker will be the death of you. I have an idea. How about on the way back to the ship, we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. I have a better idea. This better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and then try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Although, I've got myself thinking, what's the rush here? Here we are in one of the most lawless joints of the surrogate systems, and we're heading for the exit. Pauses and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea. You and me, we make a little agreement. Here are the terms. You run or leave or try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. You plot or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But you can meet me in an establishment of my choice every few cycles, you can pay me my tab. I don't shoot you. You don't pay my tab, you get the idea. So, you're letting me go? No. Let's call it open custody. You're free to mooch around the eye as long as you keep paying up. You know, I really thought I was going to have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something in his belt and the rings release from your wrist. Let's see if I can find my old stall at the Compressor Club. Come see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Let me just remind you that body of yours is one big tracker. So don't even think about leaving the eye. I'll know. He turns and strides down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you gonna do? So... Build a ship mine, disable your tracker. Fix the ammo, get to know him. Pay Ethan's tab. Wait for Ethan to run up a tab. Okay, easy enough, easy enough. So... Start doing the forensic trail here. That seems like such a waste. Like, I might as well do this. Get the cryo. Lost a bit of condition. None of those did the yard clearance for me. I guess that's the positive. But we got a good amount of cash. Oh, finally. Let's buy a drink. I'm an Overlook regular. The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you. The taunts don't take long to follow. Hey, Haunt. Spacer calls across the low room. What are you doing here? Playing human? Ignore him. You hunch a little further, staring at the scar. Hundreds of tiny impact points that scar the bar's surface. A hand falls on your shoulder, but as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. Freeze in place. Out! The voice comes from behind you, spat out like a shot. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, a stare that could breach the wall and bent you all into hard vacuum. As you turn back to the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. I'll catch it. You reach up a hand and the glass shatters across your forearm, showering you in fragments. Through a haze of glass and Girol vapor, you see Tala leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as she slams into the wall echoes around the bar like thunder. Now flanked by other figures quick to their feet, Tala throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted into the rotunda lights. Touch your arm and it feels wet. Someone helps you to your feet and back to your stool. Broken glass rattles as it's cleared and a fresh measure of Girol is glugged out in front of you. That same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Tala flops onto the stool beside you. Let's get a look at you. Tala wipes the powdered glass from around the wounds, and someone places a bottle of alcohol and a metal tin with tweezers on the bar. She disinfects them and then turns to you. That was an ambitious catch, she says. She smiles, pulling a sliver of glass from your forearm. Stupid, but ambitious. You don't feel the pain, only the sting of status messages your body delivers concerning dermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care, though, as Tala's bright eyes search your thick synthetic skin for splinters. Watch her. Tala works with the skill of someone who's had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezer tips in little rhythms that only she can follow. She smiles to herself. So, you've been on the eye long enough. You don't need to act tough with me. A splinter clinks into the tin. Not everyone is like that, idiot. We don't all hate you. Some of the regulars maybe, they fear you, but they're just curious, I don't know. But I do know is the Overlook is a safe place. I know what it's like to be new in this place, trust me. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or separate you from your chits. I just want to know that if you need somewhere, you can always come here. I know the rations we've got aren't much and the company is limited. But if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar, and if you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in Greenway this cycle, haggling with our supplier. Francis tends to be very particular about what we serve, even if the clientele isn't. She places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, Sleeper, here. He slides the glass of Geralt to you. This'll help. She stops her hand on the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean, can you get drunk? Let's find out. She laughs. Just don't sit here too long. I'd hate to see you become a real regular. She walks back around the bar, gathering the glasses as she does, and before long is retelling how she threw that spacer out to a new group that just wandered in, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction, and you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. Take a sip of the Girol. The earthy fungal tones fill your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like diving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old, feels good. Okay. So you can do a bar shift. You can buy rations. I need to grab this node now. Which means I can take that to Feng. There we go. So we're scoping the systems. Let's not do that yet. So, as you enter the bay, Feng is nowhere to be seen. The banks of servers and machines blink out the dark staccato. Blink out of the dark in staccato rhythms. Unseeing eyes of the station's digital ghosts. Shitheads. Feng's voice echoes from behind the stack, followed by the hammer of a fist on a metal casing. Those snaky shitheads. Who's snaky? Sleeper! Just the emulated consciousness I've been eager to see. Come back here. You pick your way between the thrumming stacks, trying not to trip on the loose bundles of cables that blanket the dark floor. Feng is sat in front of a set of monitors mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? He waves to a monitor to his side, glowing with pale lists of information. You lean in closer, looking for the links in the data. The tables seem to be filled with personal information, names, genders, dates, ID numbers, all the markers of institutional records. Shitheads? Maybe not all of them, but what kind of shitheads? Havenage. Ha, not quite. I pulled these from the old data you brought in. All employees of the Eye's original owners, Solheim, but this one. This is a snaky shithead. He stabs at the screen with a finger. The name reads Hardin Hurst. Friend of yours? Funny you should say that, Sleeper. He drags a stool out beside him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Hardin Hurst. In Havenage. In Havenage? That's right. He's here, right here on the station now. Just think about it. Decades ago, Hardin worked on this station as a senior strategic operations executive. Raises eyebrows. Our Hardin was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth initiatives by making sure the extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept the profit. Good old Hardin shuttled thousands of Palladium Rush workers into an infrastructure that meant that they cut out of the work that they did and straight back into Solheim. How do you know this? I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I'm a child of the collapse. Feng turns back to his screen, staring hard at the strings of code flickering by. Before I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate in Solheim canteens, worked on Solheim ships. They breathed Solheim air and slept in Solheim beds. Feng's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fists on the terminal edge. And the work that we paid for that existence, the cycles of hard extraction out in the belt, Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak, and my parents were just another in a long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for a shot at anything other than poverty. Disposable. This guy, stabbing at Hardin once again with his finger, strategized all that, did the sums, and then somehow thousands and thousands of cycles later is still going. Still here, crawling in the walls like some shithead snake. He survived the revolution. Can't be him. Who knows? So, we're gonna find out. He's a big shot in the shipyards, it's a few degrees back around the edge from here. Havenage might be born out of Erlin's revolutionary zeal, but the flat hierarchy it is not. Hardin happened to float to the top. Thing is, I don't have access to those ship systems. The shipyard crew is pretty paranoid and they don't like anyone from systems digging around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. That's where this little creation of mine comes in. I call it a ripper worm. It'll rip through any digital storage and spin out a silken thread of filtered data. Sun is set on the scent of Hardinhurst. Getting into the compound might be tricky, but you, however, have a particular knack for remote access. If you can extract yourself a Havenage cipher from a Havenage agent, they sometimes carry them among their data caches, you can crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go near the shipyard. So what do you say? Up for it? That's it for me. Rooting out corrupt snake not enough? Find the information, I'll start to work on that track of yours. Anything the worm gets, it'll send back here to me. Something wrong here and I aim to get to the rotten core of it. You leave Feng digging through the data among the wires and machines of the old station. As you walk out, you try to imagine the eye as it once was. The vast machine running smooth, strong and directed by people like Hardin. A vast Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems looking for a new life. The hope of a better future, engineered to line someone else's pockets. It's an idea you're intimately familiar with. You think of Hardin, still alive, still part of this place, and wonder if the past has ever truly passed. So, shipyards... Dragos' yard. Let's try and get the yard cleared. There we go, the yard's clear. Final pieces of the winter light sit in neat piles waiting for the collection shuttle from Havenage. Dragos managed to sell the remaining pieces to the shipyards, a fact that's hard to forget as he's been telling you about it for the past 2 cycles. And all that remains is for Havenage to come and collect. You look around the yard, transformed from when you first arrived. The mostly repaired drones flit back and forth, no longer buzzing unevenly or lost in dark corners. And the scrappy sections sorted, the system that you and Dragos have put into place over the past cycles paying off. You notice the glow of pale light from the office by the entrance, that run-down cab of a building which houses all the records and spare equipment. Dragos must be inside, and you get to your feet, walk over to find out whether the shipyard collection crew will be here. You swing open the door and Dragos flinches. Sleeper, Havenage here yet? He busies himself at the desk. Shipyards told me they'd be here soon and they'll hand over the chits and we're set. He writes something with a stylus on his slate and shuts it off. Of course we should talk about a bonus. He stands and turns to face you, his face placid. Look, I don't know when the next job is coming in, but this should tide you over for now. What's going on here? I said it's a bonus, take it. I've done well by you and you've returned the favour. Straightens up and clears his throat and you realise he's prepared what he's about to say. These chits are for you to take and do what you will with them. They're from me, and they are the last I'm gonna give you. There's no more work for a sleeper in this yard. Sorry, but that's it. You stay in the container as long as you need, but the yard is done with you. What do you mean? Don't press me, Sleeper. This is for your own good. The glassy apertures on Dragos' headset betray no emotion. You need to stay away, Sleeper. Trouble is going to follow you here, trust me. What do you know? I'll not be saying any more, Sleeper. Suddenly grabs you by the shoulder and drags you out of the office into the yard. He turns you to face a stack of pieces from the Winterlight, dissected, cut down, totally unrecognizable as shit. You came through that, Sleeper. That should have been you, chopped and stacked. This is what happens here. We cut down broken machines and then move them on. Well, I didn't cut you down. I'm sure as hell moving you on. Moving you on before whoever killed that ship comes out here to kill me. He shakes his head. These ships, they didn't get decommissioned. They didn't break down in dry dock. You think they'd look like that if they did? Someone ended them. That means if someone tried to end you, Sleeper, I'm done waiting for them to turn up. We've had our fun, now it's time. Go on. That's it. Silence hangs in the air and you leave with your pockets filled with the clinking chits and a strangely hollow feeling in your chest. So I failed the drive to study the Winterlight, but that's fine. It was an Intuit thing, so it's probably going to be difficult anyway. Oh, what's going on here? Unload. So I can unload containers, or I can buy some scrap. I will buy some scrap. I will buy more scrap, because I actually want scrap. There we go. Sure, we'll buy some more scrap. Let's go with the Auto Exchange. Halfway to Trusted Trader. Could have done with more scrap than that. Hey, welcome Raiders. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Healing Crossing, no. The Ambergris. Don't want to break the thing. Let's just photosynthesize. And end the cycle. Okay, we didn't roll particularly well there. Shipyard. Let's do some hauling. Can we can't buy any more scrap. Let's unload some containers. Oof. Did lose some condition there. He's still building up his tab there. Let's go to Emphasis stall. Buy some food. Okay, that's good. That gives you a really good amount of cash there. Okay, home. Three dice. I can cope with 3 dice, I think. Still don't have any upgrades. Let's go into the shipyard. And let's haul. Do some more hauling. Okay. So I got 2 left. Give it a go. I'll use some condition. Okay. Sleep again. I'm hoping this still gives me 3 dice if this only gives me 2. Right, okay. Compressor. Ethan says you have 2 cycles to pay the tab. He calls it being fair-minded. Sure. Pay his tab. I can't believe you just did that. Ethan's mocking laugh comes from along the bar. You look over to see him leaning across it in a pool of light, empty glasses and spilled drinks glinting around him. It's always dark in the compressor, but this cycle the place is packed. A load of spacers mixing with the locals. Usually they run. Ethan spins a glass on the bar. Or they go spend their savings on some local heavy I have to put down. They don't pay. Done. Wrong, not even close. He gets to his feet, the glass falls and smashes, but he doesn't seem to notice. You think that's it? 1 round of drinks and we're even? Sleeper, come on. His hand comes to rest on the butt of his handgun dangling from his chest halter. What's wrong with you? He laughs hard and people turn to see what's happening. You think this is on me? I think someone in your position might have a better idea of how all this works. I'm a freelancer, Sleeper, just like you. We both signed a contract with SNARP, didn't we? Difference is that my word means something. Close the gap, stumbling a little. What did you think? You could just run away from your contract, your debt? You could just steal that natty little body of yours and take it for a joyride, play human for a cycle or 2? Nothing like you. That's what I'm saying. You're a coward. I'm a professional. I should thank you for giving me such an easy job. I'm used to outlaws, you know, real bounties. If I knew catching sad little escapees like you was so easy, I would have changed clients ages ago. Someone shouts from the back of the bar for Ethan to shut up. He holds up a finger in that general direction without turning around. Shoot me or let me leave. Oh, I see. Toughening up here. Gestures wildly at the crowd. Thumbs up or thumbs down, folks? Most turn back to their drinks, no longer interested in this tired show. Ethan mutters insults as he walks back towards the bar. He sits down heavily back in his stool and searches through his glasses for the one with something left in it. Thing is, Sleeper, I can find you anywhere. It's actually wild that you haven't figured it out yet. That body isn't yours, and it will always betray you, no matter what. He finds a glass and downs the contents. So please, I'll catch up with you whenever I need another. He laughs and taps the bar for a fresh drink. Look at yourself. Give it up, Sleeper. I'm done teaching you for today. He settles his head on the bar and closes his eyes. Sick of you. Go find a job. You turn on your heel and are out of the cloying dark and the sweat stench of the compressor. You walk hard and fast down the walkway, anger driving your footfalls into the metal rim like hammers. Here we go, an upgrade point. Um. So could take interface, efficient extractor, or +1 engage. I do kind of want to start getting the scrap. But maybe +1 on engage. Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Still can't buy any scrap. Oh, let's go... Yeah, get some energy from him. Work the shipyard. There we go, yard hand. Havenage offices. Sidriel Horizon assembly line. From the walkway, the Sidriel Horizon looks impossibly vast, a landscape of plating and frames. All along her flanks, torches flicker, drones maneuver, arc lights glint. A sense of scale of industry is both stunning and strangely unsettling. From the walkway, the Sidriel... no, she's quite beautiful, I think. You turn to see a figure a little way down the walkway, leaning at the railing. He's thin, ragged, his work gear poorly fitting and loose. The torches of the Sidriel Horizon flicker in his eyes as he turns to you. Lem! He leans back on the rail, revealing a child standing beside him, staring out at the ship. And this is Mina, he adds with a smile. Hi, Mina. She stares and tucks herself behind Lem, who dutifully picks her up. She's a little slow to trust, aren't you, Mina? She buries her face in the folds of his coveralls. Mina looks out from Lem's chest, dark brown eye twinkling among the rough material. You working on them? Lem asks, eagerly gesturing at the vast ship. Or just admiring? He shifts Mina's weight to his other arm. Admiring. Understandable. He nods, gazing back out to the Sidriel Horizon. You like her too, don't you, Mina? He jostles her a little. She's Mina's and my ticket out of this place, her escape vector, so to speak. You haven't heard? Anyone who takes a Havenage contract on the Sidriel Horizon will be entered into a draw for the transit support crew. We won't get to sleep the journey through, but a couple of decades of service will be nothing for me and Mina. Mina's landfall on New World. Transit support? Uh-huh. Someone needs to stay awake to keep the thing running. He straightens up, stretching his back. That's a colony ship, friend. The Celos Foundation is sending thousands to settle a system well outside the reach of the core worlds. It'll be a totally independent colony. No surrogacy, no corporations. Why is it here? Why build it here, you mean? Don't ask me. I know as much as Mina about that. He ruffles Mina's hair thoughtfully. I suppose many corporations aren't too happy about breaking with the idea of surrogacy, setting up somewhere without it feeding back to the core. Maybe Celos got locked out of the corporate shipyards and had to go begging for somewhere to set up. Homeless, just like Mina and me. Mina responds by pushing his hand away. Daddy, she whispers. Food! Pulling an exaggerated, grumpy face, she glances furtively at you as she plays with a set of dog tags that hang from Lem's neck. I'm just chatting a little, Meanie. Give Daddy a sec. He turns back to you, and suddenly you notice how tired he looks. I'm not on the Havenage crew yet, but I work my way in. You can do it too, friend. You have to stick together. He smiles a little shakily, and you wonder how long he's been working to break into the official shipyard crew. I'm working on it. He looks out at the sidereal horizon, as if trying to pull energy from those flickering torches from the vast hull. We've got to hold out, okay? You aren't quite sure if he's talking to you. That's how it works. Well, he stares out. Mina catches your eye gratefully, curiously. You agree, Mina? She straightens up and meets your eye. Daddy loves me, she says. She says it stubbornly, daring you to question her. Lem smiles and lifts Mina. That's it, we hold on. He smiles sheepishly at you. We're just a couple of softies, isn't that right, Mina? He sets her down, standing by his side, and she clings to his leg. Gotta go feed this one. He pats her back. Maybe see you on a shift, huh? He turns and they walk down the walkway away from the shipyard. You see them talking, and a moment later Mina turns around and stops. See you, robot. A shout echoes down the walkway and she flashes you a parting smile before running to catch up with Lem. You watch them a little before you turn back to the impossible scale of the sidereal horizon. Tick it out. New drive. Win a sidereal ticket. That doesn't sound like a great idea. Sophisticated tech is rare on the eye, so the shipyards have to pay for a ship mine fragments they can dismantle and reuse. Sure. 30 cryo for that. It's not bad. Let's put the Ripper Worm. Oh. You need Yatagan data. Right. Quality of ship building spots on the sidereal horizon are hard to come by. Poor work will see you dropped from the roster. Engineer interface. What am I supposed to do with this? It's not the free hub. It's definitely a shipyard I need to be at. Havenage Gate, slots a Havenage Cipher. That's just a Havenage Agent. Self-guided program that scalps data from closed networks. Yeah, so it's not you. So let's go. Let's go. We need to get some cash. More cash. Sure, let's do a bar shift. Some good service. And this is repeatable, so we drop 100 in there. Oh, unit 207-F passkey, a passkey for an apartment, found wrapped around a stabilizer vial. As you quickly leave the surgery, eager to be away from Toshiro's glare, you notice something wrapped around the stabilizer vial, clutched tightly in your hand. You open your hand and a thin film marked with holes and sigils unrolls from around the vial. One end it has a hard metal strip, a handle. The metal handle is worn and pitted, but you can see some numbers imprinted on it. 207-F, low end. You hold the cloudy film up to the light. It's perforated with an ornate pattern of holes you can make out a word among the markings. Passkey. Is this an entry key for somewhere? For a moment you consider going back to the surgery to return the key, then quickly think better of it. Did Sabine want you to have this? Or is Toshiro passing on a message? Time to head to the low end and find out. Let's go to the apartment. Unlock the apartment. The lock clunks open, the metal door swinging inward into the dark. As you push the door open, the automatic lights flicker on inside the apartment. They reveal yellowing plastic panels, the curved shape of wall-mounted utility units, the detritus of a routine life arranged on every surface. You step inside, clicking the door shut behind. The amber light of the aging fixtures glaze everything with pale orange. Work surfaces hold a variety of objects, indistinct in dull lighting. A pale blue light drifts from a doorway at the end of the room. Smudges through the thin layer of dust suggest a recent, rare and hurried visit. They trace a path to the water dispenser, the auto wash, then to the cabinet still half open. On the shelf sits an empty pillowcase. You cross the cramped utility room with its auto wash dispensers, water closet, towards the doorway. Although the doorway is a dark, warm room lit only by the faint glow of a terminal screen. A bunk is tucked into the wall, the blankets ruffled. A wall desk glitters with rows of vials and containers. A briefcase lab sits open, loaded with rows of reagents and compounds you do not recognize. In comparison, this room is clean, ordered, controlled. Approach the terminal. As you approach, there is a cackle from somewhere in the dark. Sleeper? Sabine's voice shakily echoes through the apartment. Welcome to my home. Sorry I can't be there. I have to make alternative arrangements. You hear rattling noises. Static. I was able to record this message, but I don't dare show my face. Something is happening within Yataghan. I no longer trust them. I have something to ask of you. I want you to get me out. Yataghan was supposed to hide me, to protect me, and after everything that happened, I was desperate. And then after that, I was too tired to care. A noise like waves passes over the recording. But I'm done with them now. I want out. Screw the debt. But I need insurance, something I can hold against them. I have my suspicions, but I can't be sure. I need information. And as you know, you need me. Pause. Something clicking in the dark. This isn't a threat. You have to understand my position here. I know sleepers. I've been here before. I can help you, but not with Yataghan's noose around my neck. Get me data, get me information, get me something I can use against Yataghan, and then I can get out, and can get you what you need, please. Bring it to my terminal, I'll get to it when I can. You look around the tiny room. Try to imagine Sabine living here, working at the desk, sleeping in the bunk, blinking into the terminal in the dark. Recording cuts to static, filling the room with its white hiss and silence. You sit in front of the homing terminal and hit a few keys. Sabine has left an access port open, but the rest is encrypted, locked away behind passcodes. It seems Sabine might not trust you as much as they want you to think. Who does Sabine need to hide from? And what debt do they owe to Yataghan? You try to assemble the pieces, but too many are missing. The only thing you know is that without stabilizer, your body will die. You glance at the briefcase lab on the desk. Its glassware glinting in the dark. You turn away and leave, the door clunking shut behind you. Back in the corridor, you notice a scrawled graffiti of a blade on the opposite wall. Yataghan. You feel yourself being drawn into something you don't quite understand. Okay, another drive. get Sabine out. Another upgrade available. I'm gonna go for the efficient extractor. Because I need the random bits of scrap. So that's Yataghan agents. So I need wands. Ah, inject stabilizer. There we go. Condition stabilized, body repaired. Okay, let's go grab Yataghan agent. We can use that one. There we go, we've got some Yataghan data. This personal terminal isn't empty apart from a single high-level encryption. I don't have any twos. Another Yataghan agent. It's a 1. Keynode is on a 1. Havenage agent. Not that bothered about the Havenage, I think. At the minute. So you can go, you'll pay for Yataghan data. But you'll also take Yataghan data. So definitely more interested in giving it to you than anyone else. Okay, you'll just take it for 100. So you're a couple of cycles out. So engineer. That we're still waiting. That's a couple of cycles away. That's the bar. Sure, let's do a bar shift. Thrill Seeker kicked in. And we'll do an engineer. Oh good, we got a piece of scrap. So that means we can go up to the Auto Exchange. Got the Trusted Trader, we need to do that again. That's 50% neutral, 50% negative. There's no point even trying that. That's the compressor club, that's the surgery, that's the stall. Start doing stuff in the low end. Scale the spoke. There we go, spoke climber. Let's do it again. Oh, we lose some energy. So let's go to the overlook bar. Get that energy back. End cycle. Okay, there's a Yataghan agent. You want a 1? So we'll upload the data. For Sabine. And then here. +2 on Welder's Mate. It is engineer. Yeah. Chance to gain a random scrap. And then we'll do that. We'll use the 5 there. There we go. We got some random scrap. Which means we can take this up here, and we can sell them. We go to the bar, grab some rations. End the cycle. Okay, we've got one more agent here. A glimmer in the dark catches your eye as the orb of Hunter's head appears in the distance. It's looking for you. Run. You turn away and glide back into the cloud, threads of data rushing past. Another glimmer catches your eye, closer now, that roving orb wreathed in tentacles. It flickers, jumps once, twice, and then here it is. Hunter is here. Entity, submit to inquiry. Hunter reaches for you in that unpleasantly familiar way. It's waving threads, creating a cage. Struggle. You push against the threads as they close in, becoming frenzied as you push them aside. You're caught by whipping tendrils and feel them pulling you away from the anchor of your body. You push through, clearing the threads. Entity, hold for processing. Comes a scream from behind, but you're already gliding away back to your anchor, your body. You're awake, dizzy, distorted, but safe. As you turn away from the terminal, the final cache of Yatgan data uploaded, the air cackles with white noise. Sleeper? Sabine's voice, weaker than before, comes through the haze. Sabine? A sigh of relief comes through the layers of noise. The call must be coming in from somewhere on the station. This has to be short. I don't know if Yatgan are monitoring me. The voice is hushed, distant. Try to focus on the data you've been bringing in from Yatgan agents. There's something in it I don't understand. A shrill howl rattles through the signal. This data is all gleaned from their implants, records of integration with their nervous systems, performance analysis, error rates, usage data. I installed many of these implants. I didn't enable any of this functionality. Their voice dips under the level of the noise like a swimmer slipping beneath the water. You listen for the waves for a few seconds before Sabine re-emerges. It has to be somehow baked into their wetwares interface. And that's not all. The systems compiling this data are all connected to some kind of transmission protocol. It's being broadcast. But why? Every Yatgan enforcer is equipped with black market implants, retinal enhancements, adrenaline boosters, pain suppressors. These implants are gathering data on themselves, on the enforcers' bodies, on their performance. Why? I can't tell. But I can promise you these foot soldiers have no idea this is going on. Background tone switches, dropping into a grainy rumble. If they knew, I don't imagine they would be happy with the situation. Yatgan could have a mutiny on their hands. You lean towards the terminal, straining to listen to Sabine's faint voice. I need a few cycles to pull all this together, but this might be the information I need to pressure Yannick into releasing my debt. Yannick? He's one of the heads of Yatgan. Pause. It's better you don't know him. Keep him that way. Suddenly a banging echoes on the call. Sabine's voice is suddenly whispered, panicked. I have to go. Come back in 4 cycles. The sharp crack of a disconnect and silence fills the apartment. You step back from the terminal. What does Yatgan have to gain from monitoring its own members? You try to recall what you know about the gang, but you have little to go on. You think of Toshiro, Sabine's minder. His mirrored teardrop implants set below hard eyes. What data could they be gathering? More importantly, where are they sending it? You reflexively rub your forehead, trying to think. Can you really trust Sabine? How did they come to be Yatgan's doctor in the first place? You think of their kindness, their care, but also that glazed look of recognition they gave you when they first met you. That look stays in your mind as you slip out of the apartment, glancing around you as you close it up. Drift into the corridors of the station, unable to shake the unpleasant sensation of being observed. I've got another cycle before we have to do that. Let's carry on structural fitting. Each shift, a crowd of would-be workers gathers outside the shipyard, each of them clinging to a 4-digit number printed on receipt paper. These are their assignment numbers, and you're either called for a shift or you aren't. As you arrive, the crowd is restless, and the chatter rumbles through the lines. For those who, like you, have graduated to the work teams, shifts are guaranteed. Having just walked out of a meeting with the supervisor where you were praised for your efforts, you feel the glow of a job well done. Yet you can't help but feel empathy for those huddled as you pass, waiting for their number to come up. You keep your head down as you leave the shipyard, feeling a little guilty as you do. Hey, Sleeper, wait up! Lem's voice trembles as he shouts above the rumble of the crowd. You turn to see him pushing through, Mina crying in his arms. Lem! Good to see you, friend. He's breathing hard after shouldering through the waiting workers. You made the work team. Good for you. Tries to catch his breath, stroking Mina's hair. Shh, baby, give me a second here. He smiles weakly at you as he comforts her and her cries start to fade. Out of the crowd, he sets Mina down by the side, shiny streaks down both of her cheeks. As he does, you see he's clutching an assignment number on a crumpled piece of paper. Waiting on a shift? You know it is. He puts his hand on her shoulder and she clings to his side. Esther, who usually takes her, is sick. I don't know what. A noise sounds from the entrance. A klaxon followed by a list of numbers glowing brightly on the display screen. The crowd responds instantly, pushing and pulling as people try to wade the entry checkpoint. Lem stops, turns back to the crowd, and glances down at the crumpled paper. That's my number. Shit, Mina. He starts panning his pockets on his gear and glancing around. Go, I'll watch her. He blinks a little, staring. Thank you, I'll... Crouches to Mina. You're going to stay with our friend here. They're going to keep you safe, and... Here, take her bag. She's got food, she's got... Shit, I have to go. He backs away into the crowd. Mina, I'll be back real soon. Okay, be good. And then he disappears into the roiling crowd. We're now trying to get into the shipyard before it locks down. Mina stands, staring, suddenly small without Lem at her side. She fixes you with a dark-eyed look you can't quite read. Hey, Mina. She holds the stare, unmoving. Two parallel tear tracks still glint on her cheeks. You okay, Mina? She sniffs and looks down. Look in the bag. You unlatch the top of the bag and see a few metal containers, fashioned from scrap components. A battered slate sits on top, blinking a low battery warning, and tucked beside is a ragged rabbit hand-sewn. You pull the rabbit out of the bag, its long limbs waggling as you do. Mina goes to jump and grab it, but holds herself back. She stands, hugs herself, eyes on the rabbit. What's their name? Mina turns away and looks at the entrance to the shipyard. This isn't going well. Give her the rabbit. You hold the rabbit out and Mina snatches it from your hand. She hugs it tightly without looking away from you. Bun Bun, she says, staring you down, ferocious despite her size. Hi, Bun Bun. You move a little closer as you speak, closing the gap. He doesn't speak, she says. She looks at you suspiciously, but her face softens a little. She waggles Bun Bun in front of you, and then walks him up your arm and onto your shoulder where he sits. She pokes your arm a couple of times. Are you really a robot? Sort of. Yeah, me too. Mina has more questions, lots of questions. Questions about how you breathe or if you rust. Before long, you're talking about rabbits and what Esther, the lady who usually takes her, smells like. And whether or not fairies live in the eye's heating pipes. You pass the time like this, sitting side by side on the floor of the walkway, as others pass by, sometimes talking, sometimes drawing on the slate, sometimes playing with Bun Bun the rabbit. And this is how Lem finds you. Just as both of you are starting to yawn, he is dirty and tired, but Mina leaps up his legs and into his arms as he stumbles backwards. You two get on okay? He asks, trying to keep Mina from climbing onto his shoulders. More than okay. Mina shoots you a smile from Lem's arms, her suspicion gone. Oh well, looks like Mina can be nice. He pokes her in the ribs and she squeals in delight. Thank you, friend, I mean it. He gives you a warm, wide smile. I owe you. Look, it seems Esther, the lady who usually watches her, is going to be out for a spell. If you ever have some time, I'd really appreciate you coming down to our place in Lowend. If you have time. But now I have to take this one to eat. He plays at biting Mina and she giggles in response. See you, sleeper. He waves and they stumble off down the corridor, drawing gazes from passing spaces as Mina's laughter echoes down the corridor in bright squeals. New drive. Help Lem work. You've been promoted to the assembly team working on the hull itself, welding the fabricated blocks of the ship onto the place. A vast job. I need engineer for that. So you're still a couple of cycles out. You're 1 or 2 cycles out. You're 4 cycles out. Oh, the exchange here. So if we do that. There we go, trusted trader. There's an old ship mine fabrication stack in the back of the market, but only trusted traders get access to it. Ort fabricator, reclaimed fabrication stack. Input 3 ship mine fragments. Shipmine core. So I needed to build a ship mind for some reason. Your newly built ship mind has impressed the Orc traders, and there's no reason you can't build more. So that's the hull of the Sidriel. That's their unit. Unless Lem gets time in the shipyard, he won't qualify for the Sidriel crew lottery. Watching Mina gives him that chance. So that's pretty good. That's pretty easy. Midline freight hub. Can't do either of those. We could climb the spoke. Sure, let's climb the spoke. Put on spoke climber. Let's buy some food. And end the cycle. Okay, 4. We've got another operator upgrade here. You need +1 in interface? Oof. Yeah. I think I might keep that upgrade around. Havenage agent. Let's grab you. Aha! A Havenage cipher. The slot Havenage cipher, the gate flips, you're in. Ah, now we can put the Ripper Worm in. An open port sits waiting for you to slot in a Ripper Worm. What will it find in there? Oh, so it'll take 3 cycles to run. It'll take 1. Ethan here. Sure, what do you got to say? The compressor is quiet today. Usual crowds are elsewhere and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and few drunks. Even still in the same stool, the same pool of light. His head is low, close to the bar, and the bartender's ignoring him. As you get closer, he lifts his head and turns Sleeper. He turns to look at you. Time to pay up again, is it? He gestures to the bartender. Come here, take their chits. No more, Ethan. Sleeper, it's been a long cycle. I don't care. Let's have a long stay. He rapidly rubs his eyes with his palms. You're right, he says quietly. This isn't fun anymore. He reaches towards his holster. His elbow slips and the gun tumbles out. It clatters onto the bar and falls to the floor, bouncing onto the ground between you. Both you and the bartender look at the gun, stare at it. Butterfingers, says Ethan, puts out a hand, beckoning you to give him the gun. If you would. The bartender looks at you warily. You crouch down and pick up the gun. Point the gun at Ethan. Ethan turns his head in your direction a little. Sharp, pale eyes locking with yours. The bartender backs away. Oh, Sleeper. This is more like it. You don't wait. You pull the trigger. The gun clicks. By now, all the attention in the bar is on you and Ethan, who looks at his gun with a bemused expression. The bartender raises an open hand, and in it are 10 shiny bullets. 10 shiny bullets he took out of Ethan's gun while he was asleep on the bar. Ethan smiles at the bartender. Oh well, he says, grabs the gun, slamming it back to your face, into your face in a single move. You stagger back and drop to a knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters onto a surface. It hits a glancing blow, but it makes your vision swim. Through the blur, you see Ethan wrestle a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling it in. No more playing. Your head aches. Ethan taps through a few screens impatiently. He swears and taps again. He starts shouting. A dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs you by the chin, his face close, his breath heavy with drink. S&R just screwed me. He grins maniacally. They cancelled the contract. They cancelled the contract, he shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples as his face pale. You hear a clicking sound like coins being counted, like bullets being loaded into a magazine. You shake off the last of the blur. The bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Ethan stumbles back towards the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. I'll kill all of you, he screams. He stumbles into the wall, spinning away towards the door. I'll be back for that, he shouts to the bartender, lunges out of the compressor. You steady yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but then thinks better of it, begins to clean the bar. After a while, you wander out into the light of the Bright Market, looking for Ethan round every corner. Ethan may be disarmed, but you doubt you've seen the last of him. Okay, well let's get the ambergris repaired. And let's sleep. I am starving. So let's go. Grab 3 energy there. Scrap freighter. I don't necessarily need. Scrap anymore. Merchant freighter. Haggle over prices. Buy ship mine fragments. Let's see if I can get this ship up and running this. Ugh. That's not good. There we go, we've got some cryo and some good service. Let's use that to eat. A couple of days there. Let's grab quite a bit more energy there. And what can we do with one? Grab a Yatagan agent here. So there's a couple of things happening tomorrow. And let's sell that data. End the cycle. So we've got 3 dice now. Again. But we should be able to get the ship repaired. Oh, right. We're just gonna do this. Ankita. Ankita is crouched in the computing core of the Ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruin the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds up a thick fistful of ragged wires. Ship mine they ripped out won't even be usable without replacing these. She throws a bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs! Can we repair it? There's nothing we can repair. You need an entire ship mine. Not exactly the first thing you can expect to dredge up from a scrap freighter. Fragments, maybe. Sections of a mine, but a complete ship mine? No way. She climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine should be. Space suddenly crowded with her the same level as you. Towering over you as she stoops beneath the low curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of Amber. Though you could find a way back yourself, the repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout. All diagonal angles and bundled tubes. What do you do now? Ankita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually, you arrive in the galley. Though it's hard to tell, most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hole patches. Ankita shoves a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way around it. We need a new ship mind. I can salvage one. I like a confident sleeper. Maybe if we check the Auto Exchange, I'll speak to some scrap dealers. Seems I'm about to do something very stupid. But hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you've put in on Amber, and I'm sure she would too if she could. And what I'm saying is, you screw me on this, I'll kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. Don't you dare to count them. Get me that ship mine, Sleeper. Don't you make me regret this. You won't. But just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out of the galley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find Ankita a shipmind, somehow. Oh, if only someone hadn't already built one. Gave me about 100. You drop the huge cylinder onto the measuring table. She can't hide her excitement. You drop the shipmine core onto the galley table with an emphatic bang. Ankita spins around from where she's been poring over some documents on her slate. Holy shit, Sleeper. Did you actually land a shipmine? She rushes over and hefts a huge cylinder, turning it back and forth. Well, shit, it might actually work. She smiles wider than you've ever seen. Where did you get it? I built it. Built it? Well, you're full of surprises. She bangs on the galley wall. Hear that, Amber? The Sleeper got you a new shipmind. The sounds echo down the ship's passages. You have to admit, being in a small space with Ankita when she's this excited is a little intimidating. Ankita puts the shipmine back on the table. I'll start the process of fitting it as soon as I can. I might need your help with some of it. She heads back to the counter to grab a slate. This isn't the only good news today either. It's like my good karma is finally coming in. She throws the slate on the table and spins it so you can see the screen. Take a look at this. You see a list of names and numbers, nothing exciting, along with what looks like a transit timetable. Found them. Found who? A crew! Or more specifically, Ashton Cade. It was his pass that was used to access Amber and slice the shipmind. I thought he might have been killed or robbed, his pass stolen, but it turns out he crossed the Founder's Gap this very next cycle. How do you know? I never saw the crew over the ferry. Old Mercs used to run in an outfit I worked with. I saw them in the Overlook and they mentioned they saw Ashton crossing. Checked the manifest and there he was. Looks suspicious. He hasn't said a word since the theft, and anyone wanting to hide out might head to the Greenway and go to ground. He won't get far though. There's no real docks out there, only a couple of jetties in the wastes. Going after him? Not yet. First I want to fit the shipmind. Maybe you could help me. It's like this. I head over there, especially in Amber, he'll spot me a mile off and go underground. He'll find a way to slip the station or bury himself so deep no one in the waste will find him. But you... Ashton doesn't know you. All I need is for you to go there and sniff around. Not the commune, not the stacks. You'll go onto the edges, the margins, the wild places. That's what Ashton likes. You see him, you locate him, ping me on this. Chance you do a commie apiece. Seeing as this is Merc work, I'll be happy to give you Merc pay. Thing is, I haven't got much left, so how about I tell the boys who run the ferry to give you a discount? I know it's not much, but once I grab this coward, I'll pay up. 200 cryo, nothing less. What do you say? She gives you a heavy whack on the shoulder. Good, I owe you. She lifts the shipmind up onto her shoulder with worrying ease. I'm gonna go and get this fitted into Amber's core. You get any info, any sense of where Ashton's hiding? Let me know. Once again, Sleeper, thank you. I appreciate it. She stomps off into the guts of Amber with the shipmind, leaving you in the galley. You glance around, a sudden nervous energy descending at what is to come. You never thought you'd get to work as a mercenary, but then again it seems the eye is full of surprises. So new drive discovered. Now we have 2 upgrade points. This is huge. That's going to take a while to get to, though. Yeah, we're gonna go there. We're gonna grab that. Feng. As you arrive, Feng comes striding towards you, taking you by surprise. Let's go, Sleeper. Puts a hand on your shoulder and turns you back the way you came. He steps into a passageway, guiding you downring towards the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry, but we have something of an opportunity. The data you ripped, well done by the way, tells me Hardin is making a rare inspection of the Sidereal Horizon this cycle. It's a perfect chance to confront him outside that compound he hides in. Confront him? That's right, it's a perfect time. Feng slows and slips into a dark service tunnel where, somewhere in the back, in the blackened water pipe drips. It's him, Sleeper, the same Hardin Hurst. A worm ripped out decades of records that mention him by name an entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He wrote out the whole thing, slipped into Havenage when it first broke off from the Union. He paces in the tunnel, a hand rubbing at the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I don't know what you know about the collapse, but it wasn't as instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here, running the station one day, and next Erlin's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market collapsed, they tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller, the costs higher. People like my parents were forced to work non-stop just to keep a berth on the station and water in the tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the mistakes, the accidents were coming in non-stop. And as new waves of contractors came in desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them, taking bribes instead of checking pilot licenses. The whole time, Solheim was folding up, dragged into court cases like the Central Systems, while this severed limb of a station still desperately tried to take all it could. The riots came after a collision at Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died, thousands panicked. My parents told me people were terrified and the blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erlin, how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true, but my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself in their MEV and welded it to the dock, while my father joined the improvised crews trying to seal up the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Feng pauses in the dark. They sealed it up though, and by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning every one of us to the black apart. Feng finally turns back to you now, his eyes burning. From shits like Hardin. Shits who held their place, rode it out, and slipped into the new structure like nothing had changed, standing shoulder to shoulder with those they had exploited at every step. He starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut about the shipyard this time. His past catches up with him. How is he still alive? Clearly you don't know much about executives. That kind of power comes with certain benefits. Feng rejoins the main passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed. Through the ceiling you can see ships in mid-construction, their flanks lit by flashes of plasma torches. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. Let's go. Let's go show this shithead some consequences. He strides towards the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors leads through the complex. Snatches of the construction bays always appearing through windows. Ships are suspended like whale corpses, skeletal, imposing. Feng seems to know exactly where he's going, and before long you cross a huge dried-up loader locked onto one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding cling to the ship's hull, filled with workers and equipment. The sound is stretched out by the vast space of welding, cutting and sealing seems to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Feng spot them at the same time. A group walking slowly across a gantry, and at the front 2 men, one gesturing towards the ship, the other stick-thin, cleanly dressed with a shock of grey hair. Hardin. You and Feng say his name in unison, and Feng sets up the staircase to the gantry with you following behind. As you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done behind the dock, being throughout the dock, and Harding nodding along. Hardinghurst! Feng shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figures turn. Yes? Hardin asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Feng, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. You're a traitor, Hardin, a Solheim executive who tried to hide here among its victims. Feng's voice is steady, strong. You stand for everything the Eye was rebuilt in the shadow of, against everything Erlin stood for, everything Havenage stands for. You have no place in this station. For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone was held in place by the rattle of construction. Hardin laughs. Well, good to meet you too. He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling, some others are nervous. You're from the systems branch, are you not? Asked Hardin, inspecting Feng's clothing. You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent. Foreman glances between Feng and Hardin, his hands drumming at his side. Hardin leads towards him and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. It's true. You begin speaking. Hardin turns his attention to you. And what would the sleeper know about that? You accuse me of being a corporate agent. What are you if not exactly that? He looks around at the group, who are already eyeing you with suspicion. You are a product of S&ARP. You have no place in Havenage Shipyard. Who knows what signals you're sending back to your makers? A murmur of approval runs through the group. Feng holds up a stick of memory. You guessed right, I am systems. I have records that link you directly to Solheim right here. So once again, I'm asking you to take this man into the custody of the shipyard. Hardin's voice is calm and measured. If you have such data, why hasn't it been submitted to the members' meeting for proper review? He shakes his head. I have nothing to hide, unlike a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, tries to turn my own men against me. You hear it now, the echoing sound of boots on walkways coming from all angles at once, and then settling behind you. Please, submit the data through correct channels, and then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave. Gestures towards the security detail, their hands on boxy black sidearms at their sides. Hardin, you shithead. You can't wiggle out of this one. A security officer draws their weapon and levels it. Feng stares and turns and stares him down. Calm him. He shakes his head and puts a hand on your shoulder. Let's go, says Feng, as he pushes through security, heading back down the walkway. Once security's walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back into the corridor, he picks up his pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly who you expect them to be. Something pings in his pocket and he takes it out. On the slate of a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. Got him, mutters Feng. What's going on? Hardin is doing what any snaky shithead always does. Calling his friends, when tracking his outgoing messages. The old ways are the best. Spook them good enough and they'll give the game away. He jabs at the slate and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring, lines bouncing from point to point. All these dots? These are Hardin's buddies, the ones he's messaging right now. We're going to find them all. Trick me? Not exactly, you get good. Glances around, slips the slate back. Better split for now, Sleeper, but this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, he drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure whether to be angry or impressed. Yes, self-repair. Okay, so I've got a 6. Founder's Gap. When you mention Ankita, the space is selling passes smiles. They give you a discount passage to the Greenway. So now I can cross to the Greenway. As you step out into the passageway, someone barrels into you from behind, sending you stumbling down the corridor. You turn to see an unfamiliar Spacer, laden with heavy gear. She steadies herself, staring you down as if just daring you to respond. She adjusts the strap on her shoulder, barely giving you a second look before setting off down the corridor. I'm sorry for her. Second Spacer smiles at you apologetically. She's on a mission, and when she's on a mission... They shrug. Tell her to be careful. They laugh. Does she look like someone who can be told? Peek! Esh stands further down the corridor, glowering at her friend. She chops at the air, pointing down the corridor to whatever end she's rushing to. Esh, please, you want everyone in this station to hate us? They want to hate us. They can hate us. She drops her hip. I'm not exactly seeing much love as it is. But look who we got through before they set that damn cordon. See, they don't even know what you're talking about. Station isn't Hawthorne. Not everyone has to follow some sort of corporate protocol. I'm not saying they're part of the administration. She jerks her head in your direction. But I am saying we need to get these supplies to the Briar before someone starts asking questions. Okay, can I help? See, help isn't that exactly what we need right now? Peak. We are with the refugees, the ones who Havenage have cordoned off from entering the station. The ones that are being quarantined in makeshift vessels that barely made it to the Eye to begin with. The ones that your station administrators have called an existential risk and are running out of supplies while their right to safety is being debated by people who have no stake in the future. She quickly looks away, annoyed at her own outburst. She's right. People are trapped out there and they turn to Ashi. We understand that this is a big problem for the Eye. Hundreds of refugees and more ships turning up each cycle, but... Ashi turns away. Her burning anger a palpable force in close quarters on the corridor. They need supplies. And even after everything they've been through, the quarantine isn't helping. That's terrible. Looks back at you, the fierceness fading. Peek, please. Ash gathers herself and the supplies. Ash, we need help. Just like the refugees Ina does, we need others too. They smile at her. Peek turns to you. Come find us. The climbing briar is docked at the broken spoke past the greenway in the waste. We have a good view of the cordon, though we are out keeping our distance for now. Come help us. Squeeze your hand. Ash turns to leave and Peek follows, waving goodbye. A moment later. Don't bother coming empty-handed. You want to help? Show us. Bring supplies or don't come at all. And with that, they disappear around the corner, picking up speed as Peek calls for her to slow down. Refugee flotilla? Where are they coming from? Why now? Each time you think you're beginning to understand this place, it changes. Flotilla aid. Bring mushrooms to the Briar. It's the Greenway, Wild Margins, Haifa Commune. Work the grow beds. Look for tracks, search for signals. The wastes. Gather scrap. Let's cross back to the rim and let's just check my container. Perk self-repair. With some careful engineering, you can patch up your damaged body with scrap. The result isn't pretty. So we were here. Just one condition. Oof. I think 3 hours. I think that's a good place to call it there for today. So we'll call it there. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with 9 o'clock tomorrow, where we're going to be doing some bingo. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, I'll carry on playing some more of this on Wednesday or Thursday. One of the two. Keep an eye out. Anyway, thanks for watching.